we are going to start learning about percentages for 7.1. So a percent is just a number out of 100. The word percent, when we break that up into two parts here, if I can find my pen, just a second, there we go, right? So if I break it up, per means out of, and cent, that means 100. You have 100 cents to make a dollar. There's 100 years in a century. Out of 100. The word actually means out of 100. So it's just a number out of 100. And we use this symbol to write percent. And I can remember that because, right, here's my 100. 2 zeros, 100. So we need to remember that percents are always out of 100. Every single time we are talking every time we are talking about a percent, it means 100. Every single time. So we can actually make fractions or ratios, same thing, and decimals into percents. They're all the same thing. So let's take a look at one. We're going to do 67 out of 100. And we're going to write that as a ratio, a decimal, and a percent. So the fraction's pretty easy, right? 67 out of 100. So we have 67 out of 100, 67 hundredths. The decimal, well, this is in the hundredths place. So we need to go to the hundredths place is 67 hundredths. 67 hundredths, 67 hundredths. They sound exactly the same. And then if I write the percent, well, I know it's 67 out of 100. We just turn it into 67 per cent. So percent is telling us that it's not a full thing. It's, right, it's only a decimal. It's only a fraction. 67% out of 100 is less than the full thing. You don't have 100%. You only have 67. So every time I say these, they're all out of 100. 67 hundredths, 67 hundredths, 67 out of 100. So the ratio, the decimal, and the percent are all comparing a number to 100. That is our magic number. So let's try one that's not out of 100 to start with. So we're going to do 7 out of 20. So we want to set up the ratio equal to 100 when we get there. So our ratio, we're going to start with 7. Why won't my pen? There we go. 7 out of 20. But we know when we're talking decimals and percents, we need to change it into 100. So we're going to go to 100. We want it to be out of 100. The total should be 100. So how do I get from 20 to 100? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, that's times by 5. And if I do that to the denominator, we're going to do that to the numerator. So 7 times 5 is 35 out of 100. These are equivalent. But now that it's out of 100, it's going to make it easier to write the decimal and the percent. So I'm going to write the decimal as, here's my hundredths place, and 35 hundredths, right? Decimals are always out of 10 and 100. I can't write 7/20s. I can't just put 0.7. That's not the same thing. That's 70 out of 100. And then the percent, I just take my decimal, 35, we write it as a whole number. But when I put this percent sign, it's telling me that, oh, it's actually less than a whole thing. They only got 35%. So set them up out of 100 if they're not. Use your number out of 100 to write the decimal and the percent. So let's try one more. This one is 3 out of 8. And 8 is not going to go perfectly into 100. When I count by 8s, I don't say 100. So this time we're going to use the proportion strategy that we learned about with ratios. So we're going to set it up 3 out of 8. And we want it to be out of 100. So we're looking for this number here. So we're going to crisscross times is 300. And then we're going to divide that by 8. So we're going to do 300. And we're going to divide that by 8. So I need something above the 3, the 0, and the 0. So 8 can't go into 3, but it goes into 30, 8, 16, 24 3 times is 24. Left over we have 6, bringing down a 0. 8 goes into 6 7 times. That's 56. 5, 6, 7, 8. 56 is 7 times 8. We're going to bring down a 4. And we're going to add another decimal here. 8 goes into 40. There's my decimal there. 5 times exactly. So this is 37.5 out of 100. Now, right, this is 37 out of 100. So when I come to my decimal, I've got to get the 37 hundredths. And there's another half over here. So this is 375 thousandths. So really, we're just moving the decimal forward 2 places, right? 2 zeros for 100. It was here in my ratio. I just moved it forward 2 places. And then when I do the percent, I just go right back. I take this ratio. My percent is 37.5% out of 100. So each time, 37 out of 100, 37 hundredths, 37 out of 100. Yes, this one does have that extra decimal, but every time they're still in that hundredths place. So once we know our ratio, the decimal and the percent become really easy because they're just the same number we already did the work for. So go ahead and take no more than 5 minutes, color in those percent symbols, that 100, right? That 100 is a big deal. So go ahead and finish those up.